Ladies and gentlemen, I forgot that I didn't fade at the end of that song. Boys and girls, friends and enemies, all you party people in the place to be. This is Inside the PFL. I am not your normal host here, sort of taking over hosting duties for the Evan N. I am Joe, and as well with me here is the classic himself, the original Gruesome Twosome, back at it. It's me and Manny.
Howdy, y'all! Am I doing that right, Joe?
Whoa, you're howdying me here. Oh my goodness. Well, Manny, it's been a while since we've done Inside the PFL, just you and me, probably season, 7, maybe? Season 8?
Oh, God, I was still in my apartment when we did the last one, Joe. So, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, well, hey, it's good to be back. It always feels good. Overall, give me your thoughts on Week 9 of Battles here. How did you think it went overall?
I mean, the games were definitely entertaining, but I'm a little bit sour.
Well,
that nothing really changed between last week and this week with playoff implications. I don't think
we will certainly get to that here. There's a little bit of seating shuffling, but we'll take that as we go. The first battle, as it happens, that we're going to be talking about here will in fact be yours, which is Dylan with his How to Train Your Drago, of course, and you, Endless Ralts. And let's just get that one going here and give me some of your thought process into how this battle went.
My thought process was to keep G Weezing alive as long as possible.
That we certainly saw, because one of my first notes was a lot of wishing going on here. G Weezing came in on so many of these mons that Dylan brought this week.
Yeah, I don't know what he was thinking. I was like, when prepping, I was like, there's no way he's going to bring double fighting type. So that's why I brought Licky Licky and Registeel, because I was like, there's no way he's going to bring double fighting type. And he brought double fighting type. And I'm looking at his team, and G Weezing switches into 5 of 6. Oh boy, this is free real estate.
I mean, and that's an immediate good pickup too, considering you had Ditto last weekend. You just decided to junk probably a Manny staple, the most Manny Mon that I associate with you in this league, I think, for G Weezing, who has been mostly untested, I think.
I needed more utility, and I probably should have made the switch to G Weezing sooner than I did, but I just felt like my team needed a smidge bit more utility with Defog. G Weezing has 3 different abilities, and he's just all around really good. And
look at what Toxic Spikes did in this match.
I know. I YOLO'd into that because I was like, oh, I'm going to run Toxic Spike and then Scarf Hex on Spectre, and that didn't really pan out, but the Toxic Spikes did all of the work.
I mean, and the first Mon you get rid of here, we just saw is Hitmonchan, meaning that, I don't know, who else does Rabambi get defog? Is he even going to bring, if you have 1 removal, it seems like 2 is being a little too safe, I think.
Yeah, I think that once you bring the Rapid Spin, you don't bring the defog, especially if you can run webs on Rabambi. You don't.
Yeah, no real reason to. And so this is also something that you were very scared of here, Poltegeist. And
I just was my thing was I'm not losing to the Teapot. It was my team building cornerstone this week.
And look what just happened. You just Registeel. Well, first of all, I had no idea that Clear Body didn't block Strength Sap's effect. When I saw Clear Body, I was like, oh, he's not getting any health back. And then he did.
Yeah, that was so messed up. But good thing, Joe, I brought the tech on Registeel.
Would you like to reveal that tech?
I brought Banded Registeel, and I did that calc on the Teapot, and it did 120 something min so it was just.
And imagine if you didn't bring it, he uses the Strength Sap. You don't get anything down, but if you're not banded, then you might not have killed there.
Exactly. I was really he saved the game there, because if he's not banded, he doesn't kill there, and then I just get Strength Sap to death.
Well, I mean, it's just constant. You end up pretty much in a loop, Yeah,
I'm basically just stuck there. So I had nothing else for the Teapot after he got rid of Licky Licky.
And everything else was pretty much pie, I'd say. I mean, you do get blown out by a Z move here, which, that's going to happen with Spectraire. But Even with the webs down, it was just G-Zapdos getting everything done.
Yeah, I wasn't really too worried about webs. I don't know why he brought webs. I feel like it was a waste. Like, because I have
I mean,
Levitate,
look,
a flying
Spectre.
type, and
Spectre is scary. He's fast, you know.
true, true. But I mean, he didn't get them out early game at all. So
Yeah,
and
and
then I just decided just to trade. At that point, I just because I could have went into G Weezing because I knew the Dragon move was coming, but then I didn't want like I needed the damage on Regijago to kill, so I just decided to just because I knew if I just clicked Shadow Ball I won, but I could have saved plus, but I didn't want to lose because I saved plus.
no, I agree. I think that's a win is. I mean, this season the plus is pretty important, but a win is a +3 win is better than a loss. So
Yeah,
I
just punted there.
I think overall it went pretty well. So that's how that one goes here. So we'll talk about the implications a little later as we move on to game number 3 here, which is Jim and Thomas, which let me change around. I'm doing the same kind of thing here. There's Jim and Thomas is that one. So, all right, let's jump right into old Bay City Starly and Hutch and Starmie Crusaders. So
Why couldn't Thomas do this last week?
what, get Mega Metacham or have a +3 loss?
Yeah, just not lose by 5, Thomas. Like, God.
Manny,
I was like, there's no way Thomas loses by 5.
I ran the numbers last week, checking week 8, like the plus from week 8 of season 11 versus the plus of week 8 of this season. I don't know if this is a side effect of the tier list being absolutely unfucked, and people still needing to kind of get used to that in terms of team building, but there was 50 more plus at this point this season compared to last season.
Did you say 50?
50.
That's a very large number.
I mean, we'll look at the playoff picture. Things are gigantic,
I know.
Like the plus people have, and there's like 3 or 4 people that can threaten James's record of, +30 on 7 wins.
God. No, I didn't realize that. That's crazy.
Yeah. So, all right, Cofagrigus here. This is one of the main talking points that I have. I love Shadow Claw on Mega Garchomp, by the way. I think that Thomas is in a really good position here, and then he gets a bad sleep talk. If he got Shadow Ball, Garchomp might have been dead, and then there's a crit from Shadow Claw, and he didn't even get a chance, and one of Thomas's saving graces is gone like 2 turns after he sets it up.
You live and die by the sleep talk, man. Like sleep talk has a very good shot of just pulling a move it's worthless.
There's a lot of well, I shouldn't say a lot of. There's some RNG fuckery as there is normally, I would say, but this week there were some particularly sharp instances of just like, oh no, that feels bad.
There were, especially in this battle.
I think that was one of them with Cofagrigus here. There's, God, 1 or 2 others. I don't know if do I have it written in my notes here? No, not on this battle, at least as far as I could tell. Mm-hmm. I do like as well, Eldegoss, I feel like, hasn't done a ton for Thomas this season. I think we kept it at 60, right? Like, we didn't move it up. And
no, it stayed.
And I remember being like, "Oh, this is a steal for Thomas," and then he hasn't really done much with it. So I don't know if it's going to be another season where we kind of pass over it again, and then it's going to be picked up and used as a cornerstone defense of a team next season. But keep your eye out for Eldegoss. It's probably going to stay at 60.
No, it's really good. I think Thomas is just very underwhelmed with it. Like, it's a very good Pokemon, like Monograss, Regenerator. A lot of utility.
Like, it doesn't have some of the fun stuff that I'm on like Whimsicott can do, I think, and that's partial problem with it. Even though it's not exactly built for the same kind of things, it doesn't have the secondary stab. It's a Gen 8 Mon, so it doesn't have a super great move pool. So
no, it doesn't. But like, it's just used to like be a punching bag.
Yeah, and with Rapid Spin too, and I think that it's very good as a spinner.
For sure.
Also, we talked over 2 of the bigger parts of my notes here. So Garchomp was asleep at one point, which was great. That was a wonderful thing for it. And then after one turn of sleep, Thomas decides to switch in Noivern, and which I understand. You're like, aha, I'm faster. He is asleep. There's the other RNG fuckery, I guess, is he wakes up right then and there, scale shot happens, and Noivern is gone, and, the fastest mon on your team, something that threatens, both Celebi and Garchomp, too, is just junked, and suddenly you lose kind of the momentum that you had.
That was a really big double into Noivern. I don't know what the plan was there, but
now that was all right. So there were 2 instances of RNG going badly, but one instance of a play that I love to the point where he's the icon of the broadcast for next week, which is, I feel like counter is very underrated as an option. Like, Fortress just built to tank whatever Mega Metacham could give it, and then clap back and wreck his day. We need more of that in the league.
Yes, we do. Because, there are some big bruisers that could definitely fall trap to counters. Like, Mega Mawile doesn't really pack very many other moves besides, like, actual damage ones, so...
Yeah, I think that, especially when, like, if you're in a situation where it's like, oh, well, this is a 2-tap, what's he going to do to me? Then that's the situation where you need to be the most careful. Like, oh, wait a minute. In the back of my mind, you should be like, ooh, if this guy has counter, that would be bad.
Yeah, I don't think anyone, like, thinks about counter. And then what's the other one?
Mirror Coat is the special attacking version, yeah.
Yeah, Mirror Coat. And then the discount version of, what is it, Metal Burst for steel types or whatever it is?
Was there some kind of set we used once? Somebody had like a Mega Aggron set with Metal Burst, I want to say. I don't remember if it ever popped off. I remember.
No, it was Thomas, and I had Entei, and he thought he was going to Metal Burst me, and then I Scarf Eruption him and outcode him.
Well, best laid plans of mice and men,
It's the only time I brought that one time during that season, and it was that specific battle.
I do. Hey, welcome to Drac as well as LCD and Bic in the chat here. I do remember the wonderful turn 1 Mirror Coat with Araquanid, I think it was. That's also, Araquanid's great for that. Araquanid does fun stuff because its specialty is so big too. So remember, counter and Mirror Coat, not just for Wobbuffet. Thankfully.
Yeah, you can use, like, crappy Wobbuffets.
So, let's bring us over to the Toyed battle, which is Drac and Mitch. So Drac is where here? Drac is there. Mitch is over there. So, we're going to jump right into this one too here. No need to kind of preface anything going on here. So Mario told the story on the broadcast. Mitch messaged him about 8 minutes before I messaged him to be like, hey, it's time to start the broadcast, and did not have a team set. So Mario essentially gave him meme sets. And
the meme team.
I would admonish Mario for doing that, but I understand why he did, because Mitch can team build on his own, but, with varying degrees of success, I'd say. And, like, some sets here, like, I am absolutely honored. You see the Joe special. You saw it there with Ludicolo. The weird, I don't even remember if I had, like, a trapping move on Ludicolo when I made one, but I was like, yo, Ludicolo with Rain Dish and, like, Leech Seed and Lefties, this thing will never die. And it wasn't super good, but I'm very flattered that it got brought back here. And with trapping, too, is a wonderful feather in its cap, I think, as a spin on the old classic.
Yeah, I really like the Joe special. I've contemplated drafting Ludicolo specifically for the Joe special, so I'm glad that everyone could just see it and then it only do, like, next to nothing. Like,
I mean, really, what Mitch needed in this battle was I understand Trick Room is always, honestly, for as much as we've been like, Drac has a Trick Room team, he's brought it to, like, 3 battles. Like, he has been, not coasting, I want to say, but he's been kind of going off of, like, the fear of Trick Room as, I'm going to make, like, we see here, Dusclops, I'm pretty sure is speed crept to be faster than Bronzong, which is hilarious.
Has to be.
And that kind of like I think Mario even said like Bronzong was like minus speed and stuff for stuff like Trick Room when he can't keep getting away with it is what I'm saying. Basically, people got to pay attention.
No, it'll be interesting to see the evolution of like his team in best ofs and playoffs.
Yeah. I feel like there's a similar because that's another thing. He could easily evolve. He could have all of his stats for this is what Dusclops needs to be to outspeed X, or this is what Sirfetch'd even needs to be to outspeed X. And then for if that doesn't really work, game 2, switch it back over to pure Trick Room and see if that's successful. And even if game 1 you are successful, you switch it around anyway to fuck with them, to fuck with their sets, to be like, oh, I need to make X faster now so it's faster than Dusclops. And voila, that's the kind of fucking brain power you need.
The big brain plays right there.
Exactly.
Can I just say that I love the Tyler special right here?
That was so Mario needed names. Like he started with there was the Joe special, the Mario special, and I can't remember the other one here. And he needed names for a few of them. And when I saw Pelipper, I was like, oh, name that one the Tyler special. with the add-on of make sure he didn't put 252 in every stat.
Yes, please. That.
I don't want Mitch to be banned over a joke.
I know. It would have been funny, though.
We haven't really talked about this Dusclops, by the way, with Infestation and just Rest. And
yeah,
it's like after... I don't know if Mitch even had anything to break Dusclops here. Like, this is the problem of the match, is he has absolutely nothing to break through this motherfucker.
Yeah, dude, I'm doing the same thing that this Dusclops is doing. I'm just snoozing over here. This is just... This is the boring Dusclops here. This is just...
Look, you could call it boring all you want, but it is effective. Like,
hey, those two words have no relation, okay? So don't take my saying boring for saying it's a bad set.
I know. I'm sorry.
It's objectively boring, okay?
Yeah.
Let's not go there.
The fact that it's not a fireworks factory is not something that should be held against it.
Right, exactly. I'm not saying that it's not a good set because I've run sets like this before specifically because they're fun. But they're fun to be the one using them. They're not fun to be the one against them.
Oh, of course, Bronzong is the Mitch special. Here we are. So the other thing, I don't remember if it came up yet because Glaceon is still alive here. The Mario special is apparently... Now, you might know this more than I, but Curse Glaceon. Now, it did, I believe, triple axle as its attack of choice. With the... Now, Glaceon's already a 40-point mon. And its attack stat is 60. And I understand Mario, like you said, beam sets. Haha. Fun. Cool. Why? Why, though?
I've never, ever seen Mario ever run Glaceon, period, let alone a Curse Glaceon. Okay, so if he thinks it's the Mario special, then I don't know what... I have no idea then.
Maybe
I know he hypes up Glaceon, but I've never actually seen him use it.
Is that a challenge for when Mario eventually comes back to draft Glaceon and get at least 5 kills with it? Can you put that in writing that that's an official commish call out?
Yes, I will put that in a call out. 5 for the season, correct?
5 kills for a season, yes, which I think that Glaceon definitely has the potential for, but it's in Mario's hands. He has to do it.
Yeah, I feel like that's a good over-under. I think 5.5.
All right, I like 5.5 too. Just that sweet betting edge where just completely unnecessary.
Yeah, exactly. You can't give him you can't tie it at 5. It needs to be like one of those. So yeah, I'll give him 5.5. He has to get over 5.5.
All right, and this is all just depending on if Mario comes back and if he does, if he even decides that he actually would want to draft Glaceon.
Fuck it, if he doesn't, I'll do it.
I mean, look.
I don't know when, but I'll put my money where my mouth is.
The big reason, I can offer insight into when Mitch made his changes a few weeks ago of splitting up Piloswine into Glaceon and Marowak. It was because he needed something with Freeze Dry because it works well against, I think it was... No, it wasn't Murphy, because Murphy's... I can't remember who Mitch played last week, but it was supposed to be good against their team. Maybe it was Murphy. I don't remember. But, because 130 special attack, specs, freeze dry, that can do some damage.
Yeah, and in the right place, it can be a really good mon. But I just think what Mitch team his team lacked this week was just game plan.
Well, obviously, yeah. So now, amazingly though, this is also to be noted, and we'll talk about the Conference Cup later, of course. But Drac was going into this battle. He was very much into the idea of getting all 18 points from his Conference Cup matches, because he 6-0'd Rob, he 6-0'd M1, and Mitch is of a similar ilk, I would say, in terms of opponent, and he was very much interested in just like doing potentially the impossible. I mean, I'm sure that somewhere down the line it'll actually happen, and we'll get there. But I think that like 16 points for a single Conference Cup is probably a record. I don't want to say it's definitely a record, but it's more than likely a record.
It's 100% a record, and it 100% won't happen again. Just so everyone is aware that's listening right now.
Well,
I don't know what we're going to do, but we are going to fix this, because there's absolutely no reason that someone should go almost plus 18 in their Conference Cup games. It's just absurd.
Well, let's move on here to M1 and Murphy, which is actually a game we're not going to be talking about. Let's go ahead and move on to Bick and Mike.
Yeah, there we go. Let's just... What game? I don't remember.
We are not giving any deference. We are giving no further information on Murphy versus M1. You could watch it if you want, maybe somewhere. I'm not sure. If you have access to the doc, you can watch it. You can watch it on the broadcast. We're never, ever, 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 as far as I'm concerned, despite the fact that it is a record, it doesn't count in my personal record book, as our good friend Stugatz would say.
Yeah, no, it's definitely, there's an asterisk next to that record there in the personal record book. Yeah, I don't want to give attention to something that negative.
To degeneracy.
Because it was a little bit BM, I'm going to be honest, but that's for another day.
It was so bad that Mike got pissed and we had to end the broadcast early because he went to sleep instead of battling.
Speaking of Mike,
here we are. Yes, Mike and Bick, and Bick's been going on a tear. This battle is another version of it. There's been a lot of talk of Bick Tech TM this season. He's been offering it to anyone who will listen, because this is not meant to sound offensive, but it seems like Bick has literally nothing better to do than make up Pokemon sets. And I've been there. Manny, you and I have been there. We know about this.
I've been there. There was a period of time, Joe, when me and you would just text each other just like random calcs of Pokemon not on our team.
Exactly. You look into these little things, and it's what it helps pass the time. I got a boring job.
Man. It'd be like Tuesday at like 9:30 a.m. and I'd be like, Joe, listen to this.
So we probably should have taken it a step further, like Vic has here, and just sort of like with other people's teams and be like, hey, check out this shit.
We should start selling them.
I think that's we were very, I don't know if insular is the right word, but like Vic is more than happy to give potential opponents information on like, hey, here's some cool shit about your team. It could also be a flex. It could also be like, hey, if we ever battle, I know your team better than you know it, motherfucker,
Yeah, that's like the big brain right there.
So I'm mostly just waiting in this battle here, because I really have one big note, and I will bring it up when it happens here, because this was also, I think that Drac helped with, Drac and Lebo were giving advice to Mike in the chat here, because obviously the Ambipom division wanted to win the Conference Cup, and they did eventually, but they were, a cohesive unit trying to put things together for Mike here, and he had pretty good sets, pretty good ideas here. The only problem is just sometimes, Manny, have you ever had a game where you overlook like one big thing and it ends up being like exactly the thing that is your downfall?
Oh, 100%. There's times where like I'll be team building, and like if I get tired of it, I'm just like, okay, like if he brings this one specific set, like good on him, and then it's always that set.
So we just saw it right there. Mike thought Mega Audino, perfect counter for Dragapult, is immune to both of its stabs. I'm all good. And then we see Steel Wing, and it's like, oh no.
And he's gone. The Steel Wing. Man, is that even accurate? Like, is that like 100? That's only 95, right?
Steel Wings 95. Iron Tail is 70, which
70.
which
Okay,
that will come into play later when we see.
I always get those
Kyle's
two
match.
mixed up. The accuracy.
Yeah, and Dragapult had everything that it needed too. You know, Phantom Force to just like like really fuck around. You know, Phantom Force is such a goofy move, and there's just like Mike couldn't do anything about it.
No, I mean Dragapult's really freaking good. He's one of the better newer Pokemon that's like I think ever been made.
He's definitely up there, and that's I think that it's, we were talking about Eldegoss before, and the fact that it's, as a Gen 8 mon, it doesn't have a varied move pool. You look at Dragapult and you think, okay, well, it's got Ghost moves, it's got Dragon moves, it's got Fire Blast, I guess, and then you just don't see Steel Wing. Like, that's very possible that that's exactly what happened.
Oh yeah. You have to Dragapult is, I feel like, not so deep in the move pool, but like deep in like the sets. Like it can run both special, physical. Like Sub Willow sucks. Like,
well, I mean, we saw here it was a Dragon Dance set with Fire Blast.
Yeah, like Dragon Dance, like weird nature, like mixed attacker.
Oh, also the direct bringing up a good point that he needs to run Phantom Force because it's his best physical ghost stab because he doesn't have Poltergeist.
No, he doesn't.
No.
It's terrible.
All right. If he had Poltergeist, well, I don't know if that, maybe people would start intentionally not running items to fuck with. Maybe he'd run Phantom Force anyway. Who knows? Yeah. But a big +5 because as soon as the Steel Wing came out, his one hard counter for Dragapult just stopped working, and unfortunately, Mike was a long shot anyway at this point in the season, but this is, I know Mike's a little down in the dumps because this is probably his worst season since season 4, I want to say. So, he was in a competitive division. Look at who his contemporaries are.
Yeah.
Lebo and Drac are not to be fucked around with. These things happen. Wasn't it last season, Manny? You were with what? You were with, was it Kyle and Tristan?
Yeah, I was with the De Silva brothers. I got the old sandwich last season.
So really, Mike is just experiencing a similar effect to what happened with you, where you're obviously a good, competent battler, but when the level of skill is so much higher, it's tough to like drag wins out of those matches.
Yeah, it's tough. Like especially when like the division is just so like stacked, where you have to play each of them twice, and so if you if it was the three of us last season, and like that division could have went any direction, but
exactly, yeah.
Like you get canned one time or twice by the brothers, and then all of a sudden like you're 0-4, and it's like, oh cool, I guess my season's over.
Well, let's move on to our next.
Oh, speaking of
next match here, yeah, the Brother Showdown, which is
the Brother Bowl.
The Brother Bowl, which is honestly like this happens like Conference Cup matches are randomized, so this one was a long shot to happen. I always like when it happens. I liked the finals match. I liked when they meet in the playoffs. I liked last season where they were in the same division. I will always love seeing Kyle and Tristan play one another. And this one I'm happy we got to see it again, which I don't want to sell Kyle short, obviously, because Kyle's great, but like he has been losing to Tristan a fair amount these last few times. I noticed. I can't think of the last time Kyle got a major victory over him, other than maybe the finals when he 6-0'd him.
Yeah, right. I think it's just that one time.
Well, let's go ahead and start it off here and see how this one goes.
Like, the thing here is, like, I don't know if this is just, like, Kyle being locked into playoffs, so he's just winging it around, or, throwing a bone to Tristan or something. I don't know, because 0 Dracovish switch-ins is, like, a bold strategy.
I will say that there are some pangs of things like meme sets and like weird not weird misplays, but like things where, well, that wasn't probably the best option, I'd say.
Right. Like maybe if like you wanted to like meme team it a little bit, it's the last couple weeks of the season, he's locked in.
That's the other thing. Like Kyle is 100% locked in. He's got school stuff going on too, which is why he, can't battle for the broadcast. It's very possible he's like, fuck it, I'm locked in. Let me just build something real quick.
Yeah, exactly. And like, I don't know. I just like when you're facing Tristan's team, it's just there's one Pokemon you have to worry about.
Oh, look, one? Are you looking at this set right now?
One, Joe. It's this monster. It's Dracovish. It's not even close. Come on.
Look, that is the biggest problem, I'd say, is
you can figure out a way around Houndoom. That's fine. There is no way around Dracovish. It's just like you have to like limp through Dracovish.
I mean, you got Arctovish specifically to take care of it, and Tristan is not even in your division.
Exactly. I was like, yeah, fuck this guy. I'm not going to be on some highlight reel. Like, get out of here.
So these, like Mega Houndoom, obviously as well. Do you like that Tristan seems to be giving some good action to Mega Houndoom, considering it was one of the biggest mons you wanted last season, or at the beginning of this season, I should say?
Yeah, he stole it from me, but I'm glad that he's putting in the work with it. So, because the whole point of me wanting to do it is I'm finally on your camp, Joe.
100.
I think that his
40-some
special
attack.
His stat line is just too good. His stat line is way too good, and his dual stab is fantastic. And I feel like we need to give a little more love to Houndoom.
All you need is the support. That's all you need. And LCD bringing up a good point. Like, hey, what about, like he drafted Avalugg, and there's a very good chance we're going to see Avalugg in the match against LCD this week, like specifically for that. And that wouldn't have been, with the defense on that thing, it wouldn't have been too bad,
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And that's like a weird thing right there. Like he uses Z Memento on a like full Clefairy and then like doesn't even switch Heatran in to get health back,
So I mean, like you go into Heatran because then like I don't know, like I just don't agree with it. And then Meteor Mash.
Yeah, well, I mean, Scarf Metagross. Scarf Metagross is not something I don't think we see that too often, but it's like, man, God, Metagross is so good. Like
he is. He's all right. I'm not Metagross' biggest fan, but
well, obviously with you hate him or love him, you have to respect John Cena.
Yeah, 100. God damn it, 100%. Like no matter what I feel about Heatran, I still can't. Like we talked about it this last preseason, whatever this preseason going into the season was. We were like, should we move Heatran down? They were like, no, we can't. But like, it's so easy to get around. But we were like, well, we can't.
No, I think there's always going to be stuff like that, and I like as well. There was a certain point where Mega Absol is the only mon left. Like in my brain, I was like, what if Mega Absol just wins? Like he's done so much for Kyle this season, and like the missed Iron Tail is the only thing. Like maybe Scarf Metagross could have got one over on him, maybe, but
the battle was over at that point because, like, if he's Scarf Metagross, do you think that he brings Bullet Punch?
More than I mean, you still might need it. Who knows? But yeah, I would assume that like Meteor Mash probably would have killed Absol there too.
What's the calc on knockoff into that Clefairy right there?
Man,
I mean, I'm not going to look it up. I'm just saying, like,
yeah. Like at 39%, why not? Why not go for it?
I might click knock, and then Metagross wasn't at full, right?
When he came in, let me see. Actually, he was 94, and yeah, okay. So Drac also bringing up probably wouldn't have lived a Sucker Punch. So I forgot about Sucker Punch too. So
exactly. So like you knock off Kill Clefairy, you Sucker Punch Metagross, and then you Sucker Punch Dracovish.
Yeah.
Or knock off whatever
does more damage. Yeah.
I just feel at that point he did what I did in the Ditto game. He was just like, I lost and just slammed a button.
No, I completely understand the Iron Tail play. Like even if it was a potential for one of the other mons to switch in, like Clefairy still had the easy.
Knockoff would have done more damage if he switched in anyway. Like that wasn't the read. He clicked. I don't know why he double tapped Iron Tail there. Unless the calc on knockoff was so ridiculously bad that it wasn't going to do 30-some. But like the way the speed in which he clicked double Iron Tail, like I don't think he even. I think he just smashed two buttons because he thought he lost.
Drac is saying that it would have done like 25 if he used knock there. So
Okay, so he knew. Okay, then.
you got to do what you got to do, and
Yeah. In which case, then that was the best play
yeah.
that he could have done.
Yep, that's what we're saying here. All right, 28-33. So, yeah, not the best calc to kill there, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Although, wait, actually, with the when did it get the -1 defense? Was that a?
That was because of the Iron Tail, right?
That was because of the Iron Tail. Then maybe knock would have been better. Or no, it's showing -1. Never mind.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Yeah.
Man, Clefairy also not a bad tier 5 option.
I think that because like we moved the bulk around.
I love it. I love it.
People have been digging for the NFE Pokemon that can hold Eviolite. I did it. He did it. Like there's a lot of NFE Pokemon running around.
Munchlax, Vullaby, like that's the entire train Vic is with like all these mons that all these NFE mons that can like do really weird niche things or just be smaller versions of their like think about it, for 160 less points you could get Clefairy and it gets all the same shit and it's not as good, but if you build a good enough team around it, it probably puts in enough work that it's worth, I don't know, half of Clefable.
Yeah. Like I don't care if we even raised the price of the Wacky to 100, I would still pick the Wacky over Rillaboom.
Man, Rillaboom's getting dragged after Mike did nothing with him and Thomas didn't do anything with him. Poor guy. His day will come. His day will come, I'm sure.
Will it?
Let's move on here. We got James
I know there's slacking.
James by way of me. There we go. There's James. And our good old friend Large Kahuna here. There we go. So this was a team that you and I did a little bit of work on. Well, I mean, it was you gave suggestions, I'd say. I think it was mostly my baby
it was.
here.
I gave you input because I obviously had a stake in this battle, but I let you make the final decisions on things. So I don't think I was like, you need to run this for this specific.
No,
I was just like, this is a solid set to run into Jack's team.
You did not like my Latias set, or at least you wanted a different Latias set. I think I went with Wish, Screen, Psyshock, and Light Clay, and I think the screens were good in this match, but
this was probably the only thing we disagreed with. I would have ran Beambolt, Reflect, Wish if I had to change that.
That's, yeah.
Because every time, like, and you see it later in the game, that, like, you can't put, this happens. You can't put Laddie into Crocodile. Like, Crocodile comes in every single time, and then, like, you had nothing to hit Crocodile.
Right, exactly. And I made a doofy mistake there. While team building, I'm like, okay, I'm going to give Hitmontop the Assault Vest because I don't need it. I'm going to switch it into a knock every time that Crook comes in, and then I switch to Coughing and lose the Eviolite. And with how much work Coughing put into this match, like, imagine if it still had the Eviolite. Maybe it lives the Heavy Slam later.
Yeah, like this was an Eviolite-less Coughing for the entirety of the battle.
Yeah, and it, I mean, obviously it gets O-code at a certain point, but there were just...
But still, for 40 points, dude,
right.
Coughing could be yours.
Right. All right, so here's one of my other mistakes. I thought Ice Beam was coming, and I'm like, ooh, let me get the light screen up here. If I got a Reflect up, that, like, you could see all the other, like, I take a U-turn here and take a bunch of damage
never click a move twice.
I take a bunch of damage from U-turn. Man, like, there's just physical things that happen, and I'm incredibly angry that I didn't put up Reflect instead of Light Screen. Because you had said Reflect was the game changer here, and who was the special attacker on the team? Rotom?
Yeah.
Like, he brought a physical Altaria, like Greninja's physical, Crook is physical, Copperage is physical. Like, it's just P2 that we see before,
I mean, this was like I feel like that was the one thing that I was like, you should probably just run Reflect.
Yeah, and as well,
you don't always need to run dual screens. Like, I feel like people like just
don't
have to run dual screens all the time.
Yeah, I fall into that trap. And also, is there the other mistake where I was just like, why would he stay in with Mega Altaria here? I'm going to hit Night Slash because Copperage is coming in. And then he didn't, and I get the crit there, and with my 50% crit chance from Cross Poison the next turn, coin flips the other way, and I lose probably the favorite set that I built with Drapion, unfortunately.
I feel like if you just cross poison twice and got rid of Altaria, that this with Drapion, like this game would have been just a smidge different.
A lot different, yeah, because
oh, go ahead.
I mean, like, as we see near the end of the battle here, if I just kept, like, clicking Cross Poisons or Night Slashes until Drapion was dead, then we see, like, when Rotom is, like, doing Desperation Leaf Storms at the end of the game, the one kind of, like, pearl-clutching thing that I'm holding on to by the end of this game is the fact that even though it is a +5, he has a Mon at, like, 9%, 12%, 20%, like nothing that adds up to 100, so...
Yeah, there was, like, some missed calcs there, and like it sucks because like had Drapion just been alive a smidge bit longer, like this game goes from a +5 win in Jack to like this game could have very easily turned into like a +4 for you in like a few turns.
Yeah, and I mean I got some nice things that happen. I got some not so nice things like that Leaf Storm missing. What the fuck are you gonna do?
Yeah,
mistakes were made, and I haven't. I don't want to put it on the fact that I haven't, been in the league since season 7, but right. I'm not playing as often. So these and I really actually I didn't really want to do it as either. Also, Scale Shot Crook, by the way, what a fucking tech! Like I was not ready for that. I was not even aware that Crook got Scale Shot. First of all, like that's crazy.
Yeah, but I feel like that's different if he doesn't hit 4 times.
Well,
like if he hits 2 to 3, then it's different. And then like you had Mach Punch, so you at least do a little bit more.
It's the game we play. That's what it boils down to.
Yeah.
Like even doing 40% with a like an almost finished Leaf Storm.
Yeah.
At 1/4 my normal special attack. It was close. It was closer than the numbers imply, but the plus is what counts. And unfortunately for you, it keeps. And
with that, my grave has been dug.
No, we'll talk about it. We'll see. Next we got it is Dave and LCD. Let's go ahead and find those here. Dave is the Channel 2 Electricities. He's that one. LCD, of course, is... I'm going to go backwards here. Big Liquid. All right. Starting things off here. This one, I'm going to say, is pretty much... Dave makes some... Like, there's 2 opportunities in this game where Dave has Ferrothorn in front of him with Mega Pidgeot, and he thinks he is leaving. I'm going to hit Hurricane instead of Heat Wave, and then he stays in. And Ferrothorn stays alive and is being constantly wished up during this match by Florges. And they're a dangerous combo, Florges and Ferrothorn here. I think we said at the beginning of the season that like Zygarde, Florges, Ferrothorn is pretty crazy. Like as a Dragon Fairy Steel Core.
It's definitely a good set there.
And he had Akaberry too. So like even then, if he burns it the first time, if they're, you may as well just get rid of it. Hit what's sometimes just hit what's in front of you. Sometimes that's the best course of action here. We see as well like the wishes too. It's doing a lot. These wishes.
Yeah, it is. Nope, Swampert. There it is.
Mm-hmm. That would be the first one.
What did you lose from Hurricane there though? Like what? I don't know. But the momentum is he's just cycling and then...
Yeah, I think that it's tough for... I like Ice Beam on Cress. You know me, I'm not a fan of Cress at all, I'd say.
I don't like him either.
Cress falls into the Dusclops camp for me where it's not strong enough. I understand that it's big and it's in the way and it's annoying. Registeel is like this a lot for me as well, although you've been help opening my eyes to like different kinds of Registeels. But sometimes there are Mons that are just too passive for their own good, and you get like this weird fool's gold kind of scenario where you see things like, it gets Ice Beam.
Yeah, and then the Ice Beam does negative damage.
And you start running these goofy sets. Like, God, what was it like when Mike had Cressley the one season, it was like he had to call mine like 4 times to start doing any significant damage to his opponent. And that's too much! Run Masharna instead, for fuck's sake.
Cresselia is way too much money in the league.
I'm not moving it down. It's staying where it is because
I'm not. Listen, that's not the argument we're gonna have right now, Joe. That's an argument for me, you, and Jim later on in the summer. But I just mean like for me, for my personal taste, like it is literally like you said, the exact same thing as Dusclops, who is 60 points cheaper.
I don't want to say it's the exact same, but
arguably Dusclops is arguably better.
Probably yes, but Dusclops doesn't get recovery, which Cresselia does.
Sure.
And that's the big game changer. Also, we missed the second chance where he could have hit Heat Wave, and he still would have died anyway because the Akaberry hadn't procced, but, at least Ferrothorn would have been a lot lower.
Yeah, you gotta just work away at Ferrothorn, but...
By the way, Swellow here, Specs Boomburst, I believe to be Specs Boomburst at least, I'm sure that LCD can correct me if I'm wrong, does so much work here because Scrappy is not something that people forget about, I'd say. I mean, sometimes you forget if Swellow has it, I guess, because like here we see right here. Haha. Oh no.
Oh no. I love this set though. I love Specs Boomburst Swellow. I think it only gets better by throat spray. Boomburst Swellow is equally as fun.
Swellow has 2 sets, and they are both mighty, I would say. Like, both, like, Specs Boomburst and the Flame Orb Facade is monstrous.
Yeah, Swellow is definitely a scary bird, dude.
I like here, too, just the balls of keeping Swampert in at 1%. Just like, I'm not leaving. I don't care if I'm dead next turn. Like, you're going to be forced to kill me right here because I'm not giving any sort of extra damage to you. And
at that point,
Serp goes off, does what he needs to do, and boom, just like that.
The old Serp special right there, yeah, the old Serp special.
Yeah, so this keeps LCD very close to Kyle. I believe he's only 1 behind him. They're the same record, but plus 24 and plus 25. We'll come back to that when we get there.
Winner take all next season, yeah.
Next
week, that season.
Not necessarily, but again, we will get there when we get there. Next up, we've got Lebo and Dan. Let's change the icons around here. Lebo's big hero
thrashing.
Oh, this one is tough because it feels like that there's just not much momentum that's gained. Like the problem I think that many people have had with Lebo all season has been you don't know what weather he's going to bring. He is running a much more successful version of the dual weather that I tried to run in season 4. Actually, this is the way that it should be, but we're a generation removed from that. So although I'm not going to say like Mr. Rhyme's a big fucking addition to the team or anything, but he actually spent the money is the thing. He has both setters. He has like Mega Swampert and Zapdos and Venusaur. Like it's all like my mistake was Volcanian's going to be my main draw. Liepard will be my setter. That was incredibly stupid.
That was very tough. You need like an actual setter.
Yes. So and here we're seeing that it can work like double weather. It's much like the Trick Room thing we were talking about, where you kind of have to build something that goes alongside both lines of this will be good for sun and rain if I run across it. I just don't know which one he's gonna do. And we see here like the bulky Venusaur that he brings, like it ends up being so annoying during the match.
As it was the last time he brought bulky Venusaur.
Yeah. And like Politoed with its natural bulk, you're like, look at that, like 36 from 1,000 arrows. Are you kidding me, dude? Come on.
That's rough.
That's wild. And this is a match that I remember goes on for a little while, mostly because of this here with like Heal Bell. I'm glad that people are catching on as well. Like you definitely need a cleric, and even like this game would have been a much bigger stomp if those toxics and the eventual like static paralyses and things just kept happening.
Yeah, I do have to say that I think that like where starting to understand the importance. Like you said, it's a very wishy season. We have like everyone has a wish user. I have wishy washy. That's like 2.
That's close enough, yeah.
So,
Every Mike said, I believe in the last episode or 2 episodes ago of Inside the PFL, that like every season there's like a little thing that everybody latches on to. Sometimes it's screens. I know that there was like a big Memento season, a big like Z teleport season. This is definitely a big wish season. People just like little. We are so set in our ways as like so fucking aggressive with our gameplay that little things like, oh, wait a minute. What is this move? What? Reflect. Huh? What is that? Wow. That's really helpful.
You saying we're bad, Joe?
I don't want to say we're bad. We all played Pokemon in a very similar way, I want to say. And we're all sort of learning.
We're all learning together. Baby.
Yes, exactly. You took the words right out of my mouth, because it must have been while you were kissing me, because that is 100% what is happening here. We're just like, I don't know if it's necessarily example either, but it's like you're saying, people are paying attention. People are catching on to, Wish will very much help keep my Mons alive, and much like, some John Madden analysis for you here, if your Mons are alive, you can win the game.
There you go. Whoever kills the most Pokemon wins the game.
I like here, man, like the freeze on Politoed, like if you froze anything else, just because Scald automatically thaws you, that's a rough one. Like, your 10% freeze chance, and it happens on Politoed of all things.
It would happen for Lebo and Politoed. For me, it would happen on like Zapdos.
It would be like the nightmare that Drac had a few times of P2 getting frozen in like 3 separate games in the other league that he played in. After the P2 check was gone, by the way. So,
motion to remove freeze.
Boy, wouldn't Showdown be nice if you could just
take stuff out?
Yeah, just like click off. I mean, it would be a touchy subject, I think, because Showdown is very much, they want to play as close to the cartridge as possible, and if you maybe introduce it as a separate format, I don't know, why not take out crits, why not take out that little element of the game? I'm not salty about them, because I'm a Team Fortress 2 player. Crits happen all the time in that game, but like the little element of random, I don't know, would you do something like that? Would you take crits out of Pokemon if you had the choice?
I wouldn't take crits out. I think that crits they're fun.
They're nice. Yeah, they're nice to mix things up.
I don't want to play in a thing where it's just like calculated chess, where like like on turn 3 because you made a certain move based on your HP left. Like I don't want to start that.
Oh, by the way, this is the worst mistake here. Where like, why not just use 1,000 arrows? Why not just use 1,000 arrows and kill him? You use E-Speed, it allows him to rest, and it's just like the twisting of the knife in this game. It's like Lebo doesn't get any kind of really super offense going in this match. Like, I don't remember if like Mega Swampert does anything really. Like Mr. Rhyme with Thunderbolt was his biggest offense, I think. The rest of it has been just stuff like Leech Seed and occasional like hurricanes with Zapdos or something.
Yeah, dude, he's just like Ultra Instinct Lebo over here. Like he's not actually hitting anything. He's just like dodging attacks and like waiting for Thomas to get tired. Like that's like nothing actually happened in this battle.
And also as well, like the Z move through the Protect, like, how much worse? I don't want to say how much worse of a loss can you get, because we saw Murphy and M1, but like this is, we're 50 some turns deep. It's very similar.
Yeah. It's just it's kind of disheartening to have this be like a 54 turn, 55 turn match.
I can't. There's definitely been times where, God, I think it was when I was helping Sneaky in one of his first games, the season opener, I want to say, the only loss that he had that season other than the playoffs to Kyle, where like was that was a scary Kyle season is what I remember. No, that was 7. So I got to the finals there, so Kyle eventually got knocked out at some point. But that was like his entire team, like the only thing he was able to do was a defiant like Destiny Bond with like Scarf Frostlass.
Yes.
that kind of just that kind of total domination where you get stuck in that loop of I have this mon for this mon, but this mon comes in and I have nothing for that mon, so I switch to the other mon, and the first mon comes back in and it's all just a big fucking cycle and it's terrible.
That is called the mixer right there. And you don't want to be in the mixer, okay?
I call the mixer the worst part of Pokemon for me. Absolutely hate it.
Is.
Hate seeing it. You feel bad as it's happening, but we got one more battle to look at here before we get to the extracurricular stuff.
Yes, my boy Bobby!
And that is the big man Bobby. Let's see. There he is. And Hunter. Nope, not that one. Hunter is... What team does Hunter have again? Oh my god, my brain. There it is. Okay. Hootie and the Quillfish, my favorite team name, of course. So, I got a problem with the way Bobby plays. I'm sure you do too. We see it fairly early in the match here that I think there was a little bit of serendipitous RNG luck on Rob's side in this match here, and like little things like, okay, here it is right here, Blaze Kick. If Blaze Kick hit, Rob has, in the shortish time he's had Mega Scissor, I don't remember when he traded for him, but like 0 kills and almost every match one shot.
He just
like
code, yeah.
Yes, exactly. How many times does it need to happen? Like Scizor isn't a switch in mon. You really can't do that.
No, he's like a weird pivot where like he's very easily countered.
Also, we're seeing here, I think just Hunter trying to show off with, by the way, hitting Hurricane 50% in the sun, but hits it, so coin flip.
Hey, I mean, you have to take those.
The game could have been a lot different. But, like, I forgot my original point now. Oh, well. Shield Smash Blastoise here has nothing for Feeny, as we see. And, like, when you're trying to pop off, that's just unfortunate, you know?
And then the special attack drop. Oh, God.
Dragalge. Oh, no, I remember now. So, Hunter just playing around with a not Mega-ing Mega Venusaur set with Sunny Day on it, just so he can go fast, you know? Like, Hunter seems in kind of the fuck around stage at this point, which, you know, this is a battle with not too much in the way of implications. So why not?
Literally nothing.
Yeah, why not? Why not mess around with some sets here and show that if you want to run Mega Venusaur like it's Sun Sweeping Venusaur, go for it.
Yeah. I mean, this is the exact time to do it.
Yeah, especially
Bobby has too much luck on his side. You can't meme into Bobby because Bobby will always out meme you. It's just his thing.
And
like he's gonna click Hurricane.
Yes, well, yeah. There's some nice sleep powder things here. I think he just wakes up right here. Yeah, he just wakes up and he hits Sun and Boosted Fire Blast, which technically that's being hoisted by your own petard there by, you know, finally misses sleep powder. Yeah, another Fire Blast hit. Rob just keeps going here, I think he hits it again. Yeah, because why not?
He hits it again. Oh my god, what a mad lad this Bobby is.
And of course, you may have missed it in the Discord here, but during the game, for some reason, just out of the blue, Bick goes, "If Rob wins this game, I will admit I am a furry." So, congratulations, it's official.
Interesting call out there. Okay.
I mean, look, with Bobby's track record this season, I guess I don't blame him, but, like, you know, anything can happen in the World Wrestling Federation, and we see here with Bobby getting a little bit of, you know, a little bit of luck on his side, a little bit of, you know, waking up after the first turn here, a missed sleep powder, like, why not, you know? And
Bobby came to play. It's not his season's not over.
You know, some things happen that, you know, you hit a 50% Hurricane and suddenly you're a furry, and that's just how it happens.
Yeah. Wham bam, 50% Hurricane. I'm a furry. You know, it's just...
Well, let's go ahead and take a look. We're going to fade in here. That was all the battles here. First thing we're going to talk about, it is the penultimate King of the Kill, Manny. It is... Ooh. We got one King of the Kill left, and I should actually probably share my OBS screen with you instead of my other screen because you can't see what OBS shows. if I'm not showing it to you. So,
I mean, I could just open it on okay.
no, here you go. I got it. Okay.
There,
So, there's been a pretty big resurgence, jumping up the charts. Dragapult was nowhere to be seen in the top 10 before 2 weeks ago, I think. And suddenly, he is in second. Like, I thought that Mega Absol was not going to be caught. I thought that he, like, 18 was the magic number last season with Cinderace and James. And I thought that we were just, I thought that was ridiculous. But here we are where Mega Absol is at 18, Dragapult at 17. You have a shot if, G-Zapdos gets all the kills next week and nobody else gets any.
The Zapdos will reign supreme.
And Mega Altaria doing pretty well as well here. We haven't seen much from Torkoal recently, but it's 11 kills, doing pretty well here with the, again, he has a Sunroom facet to his team, Lebo does. That, it's like little crazy things that he can bring that can knock you off your game. It's a very versatile team. And
look at some of these surprise people in there. Crobat, I would never if you were to tell me of all the people on the list that Crobat would be in the top 10, I'd be like, what are you talking about?
I mean, Crobat got all the kills against M1 last week, so 6 to after a season, because I believe Crobat's been brought to every, if not almost every game that Drac has played. So those kills, toxic stuff, that can pick up over time.
Yeah.
Of course,
and then Torkoal's the other surprise there. Look at the speed tier of all these guys. Mega Altaria sets up, Mega Absol's a monster, Dragapult's super. He's the best revenge killer in the game. G-Zapdos base 100, regular Zapdos, Garchomp, Mega Garchomp, Zygarde, and then Torkoal.
That's true. It is 100 is the baseline pretty much, other than Mega Altaria and Torkoal. And like you said, Mega Altaria is a dancing monster, so...
Yeah, props to Torkoal right there, man.
Yeah, a big man. But I think that whoever's going to take home the $10 prize, it's either going to be Kyle or Bick here. That's
I believe we're all just playing for the third spot on the podium.
Yeah, and you get to bask in the glory of whomever gets it here. So
mm-hmm.
at least LCD knows that. I don't know how important it is actually. I don't know if Kyle gives a shit that he's going to get $10 for Mega Absol being an absolute monster this season.
I mean, if I'm Kyle and even if he loses, he's still in, I'm pretty sure. So if I'm Kyle, I'm just feeding Mega Absol next game.
Why? Because, man, wouldn't it be you paid $5 to get in, and with the way Kyle's been going, if you win the championship and get the King of the Kill, that's, a $55 plus to your $5 investment. Why not? You're playing
exactly.
You're playing for the big prize here. So next, we're going to take a look at the finale of the Conference Cup, and this one was close up until it wasn't. All right, look at that right there. So say Lebo lost his game where he got +6 and that was the nail in the coffin. 25, 25, 24, 24. If Dan pulls that one out, Girafarig wins. Or no, is he in Girafarig or is he in Tauros? I don't remember now. Whatever.
Still, God.
We'll see it later. There was the little thing that Drac mentioned too, where Drac got 18 points for the Ambipom, 16 points for the Ambipom division this season. Lebo got 12, and Mike got 3, but it wasn't actually Mike, it was Jim, because that was the week that Mike had to take off.
So Mike was literally just carry me, senpai.
So if Mike played normally and he lost, Ambipom still would have won, but it would have been a lot more dramatic, I think.
Well, enjoy your top 4 picks, guys.
Yeah, top 4. So, again, congratulations to... I didn't mention Thomas because he didn't get any points. Congratulations to Drac. Congratulations to Lebo, Mike, and Thomas. You will have picks 1 through 4 next season to be randomized.
Can we just make a rule that if you get 0 points in the Conference Cup and you win, you automatically pick 4th? Come on. Can you imagine that if Jack or Lebo pulls 4th?
Maybe we'll talk about it, but Maybe it should be based on how many points you get, in which case Drac would automatically have the number 1 pick. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. Maybe. So
Immediately he's like, yes, this is what we're doing.
yeah, Drac in the chat is going to immediately be like, I would love to be the number 1 pick and take Stakataka again. So very good for them. I don't think I told you or Jim yet, but all of them actually, instead of taking the $5 payout, they decided to defer that to count toward next season as their buy-in. So okay. we already got $20 whole for next season's buy-in for season 13. So
into the slush fund, let's launder it.
Let's go ahead and take a look at what the playoff picture is looking like here. So I believe you're right that there were no changes in terms of names. Positioning really didn't change either. Lebo managed to jump Kyle to be the 1 seed. Everything else, Jack jumped Jim, I think. Everything else stayed the same, I think. So we'll talk about the implications of the battles as we bring it up here, but this is what, if the playoffs started today, that classic sports radio topic, if the playoffs started today, this is what it would look like, but we are not there yet. As we take a look at the matchups for Week 10, the final week of the season. Manny, we can make predictions here if we want. I don't know what the record is for Jim and Mike offhand here, or if I didn't even go back and check how we did the last time we were on Inside the PFL. My bad. I didn't think about it. But instead of choosing winners, I mean, we can. We're going to talk about any potential implications that these battles have as well, or at least I'm going to because I have the notes about it, and you can react accordingly.
I think that's a more important conversation to have at this slate.
All right, so James versus Mitch on paper may look like a battle where there is nothing on the line. But Manny...
Okay, I really want to know how you're going to spin this.
This is the most important battle of the season for both of these men, or at least for James, because...
Or really for the whole season, now that I'm looking at your note. This is probably bigger than the championship right here.
Mitch technically doesn't have any kind of... Like, Mitch getting plus 11 on 2 wins means that he doesn't have to worry about being last place. This is more for the Mikes, the Robs, the Dans of the world, the Hunters, potentially. James is currently the only man with 1 win, partially thanks to me, which I'm not happy about. He is 1-7. If he beats Mitch here and does it well enough, he does not have to be slapped. He gets not last place. That might go to Mike. That might go to whoever... I think Mike might be 19th right now. I have to go back and actually check that. But
Mike cannot get last place.
If he gets the win here... no, I'm sorry. Rob is currently... Where did I put Mike? Mike is actually... I'm sorry. Mike has 3 wins. It doesn't matter. He's good.
Yeah. The contenders are Mitch, Hunter, Thomas, Dan, Rob, and James. And depending on where they finish.
All James needs to do is win. And he is not last place, depending on if, Rob or Dan or Thomas win. We'll see how things shake around. But James being 1-7 plus 5 is a pretty decent place for him, I think.
Yeah.
And if he beats Mitch, which, I mean, we'll see. I don't want to jump to conclusions, but a win by James means he is not last place, which is very important, and I believe will indeed be the case, that James has to get a little bit of the glory back and win.
Yeah. It's going to be a tough one. I'm not going to weigh in on any of these. I'm not going to give a pick, but it's just, I'm going to watch that battle with great interest.
Now we go from the most important battle of these 2 men to definitely the most important battle of these 2 men. Murphy versus Jim is a classic scenario, Manny. Win and you're in.
That's it, baby. That's all it comes down to. Win and you're in. Locked in at that 5th seed, too.
Currently, you and Murphy are also another sports radio classic here, OLI, outside looking in. Murphy has a clearer path than you, unfortunately, but this is what it boils down to. I believe that in their first match earlier in the season, Murphy did get the win. So, Murphy got the win in Week 5 when they first faced off here. Or no, excuse me. No, I'm looking at the wrong thing. When did they face off? Week 2? Murphy got the win in Week 2 when they faced off the first time. And that's what I think that Jim has seen how Murphy's team has evolved since then too, so there's weirder things that he has to deal with. I don't know how it's gonna go, but it's Jim kind of snapped at you about it when you brought it up yesterday about when we were talking about potentially expanding playoffs, how he's like, look, I'm one loss away from just missing playoffs entirely, and you are very much in that same scenario, which we'll get to, but this is high tension. High tension.
Jim is on edge right now, guys. He yelled at me in the commission chat. So.
He didn't use capital letters or anything, but I could read the tone. I could see. He didn't use an exclamation point. I heard it. Don't worry about it.
The point was taken. I backed down real quick. I was like, okay, we'll table this discussion for later.
Bick versus Hunter. This is one where Bick has the potential to lose out on the division if he loses here. I don't know if he's in a position. I didn't look too hard. Like, with the plus that Bick currently has, I don't think it's possible for him to be out of the playoffs. Like, some crazy shit needs to happen if he loses, and at plus 25, at 6-3 plus 25 if you don't make the playoffs,
No, I looked at it, and from what hopefully I did it right, but the only people who could miss are Jim, Jack, or Tristan. Are the only people who have a realistic shot to miss.
Right.
Jim
or if
is a loss to Murphy. If Jack loses and I win, he's out. If Tristan loses and I win, Tristan's out.
Yeah, that's
really the only switch.
We're getting close. These are hard times.
Pretty much has a freebie here.
Seeding implications is what I'd say.
Seeding is
Well, also you don't want to say if Bick loses here and Tristan wins and you win, then you're still out as well here. That's another road. Right. That's another road blocked off for you. So it has playoff implications for you, maybe not necessarily for Bick. Other than if he wants to be the third seed, the second seed, he could go as high as the first seed if there's certain losses. So
for sure.
I don't know. That's definitely a wait and see position. Dan versus Tristan. I have just written here a Tristan win guarantees a playoff spot, and that's what a few of these boil down to. Like you were just saying, if Tristan loses for whatever reason, you win, some other dominoes fall a certain way, then he ends up 6-3 and not able to get into playoffs, which is, a scenario thought impossible a few seasons ago. Like I thought that the benchmark was 5 wins, and now the benchmark isn't even 6 wins.
No, it's not. Because if I win, he better, or if he loses, he better hopes I lose, because all I have to do is get a +1 win, and I take his spot.
And you're ahead of him. So, yeah, that's all you need.
So,
same thing for you here. We talk about Manny versus M1. A win is what you need, and everything else, like, you have the least enviable position where you are not in control of your own destiny.
No, man, this sucks.
Dave versus Jack here. If Jack wins, he should be in. That's what I basically boiled it down to. Because he is. I mean, if you beat M1 higher than Jack beats Dave, then
by a +3 buffer though. Like, I would have to
That's true.
I would have to 6-0 him to even have a shot.
You're right. Yes. So, but that's also another avenue open for you. It's a avenue filled with fucking thorns, and it's not very well trodden, but it's available.
I'm just gonna copy and paste what Murphy did.
We got Thomas and Lebo. The seeding implications here are just that if Lebo wants to be the first seed, he could just try and play the game normally and beat Thomas. If he just wants to throw Thomas a little win to fucking fuck around with his seeding, that's an available option to him.
Yeah, I mean, if you like a certain first round matchup,
why not?
Go ahead. I've done it before.
You and I have.
I don't know if I'm supposed to say that out loud.
I'll die on the hill with you. You and I have had extensive conversations about playoff seeding manipulation
and it worked for me.
To the point where you and I were going to do something like that, and then you pulled the rug out from me and didn't throw. You bastard.
Got him.
We got Drac and Mike, which again, this is another sort of thing we've got here of if Drac wins, he should be in. That's basically what it boils down to. A catastrophic loss. A loss would be catastrophic because 5-4 is not enough in this scenario.
Yeah. He needs a win, and if he wins, I think, like you said, his plus is just so ridiculously high that I don't think it matters. He can win +1, it wouldn't matter.
Yeah, he's far ahead of the curve. He's another plus 25 here, plus 22. He's very close. So even with all of that, like with 16 points from the Conference Cup, and like just little weird losses ending up causing problems. It's almost the same scenario you're in, and it can happen if you're not careful. So, it's Mike is a man who was in the finals 2 seasons ago. So,
and he has nothing to lose this match. So like it's either Drac is gonna like 6-0 him, or like Mike is gonna win +1 or something like that.
Mike is gonna bring crazy sets that aren't gonna be expected, and he somehow outfoxes the fox on this one. Kyle versus LCD. This is unfortunately not a win and you're in scenario. It is if LCD wins, he's guaranteed a playoff spot. If he loses, he's plus 24, so it's tough. I don't know if that's gonna again, sort of the same kind of scenario of imagine being 6-3 plus 24 and not getting in.
I just don't see how.
Both of these guys are going to make playoffs, I'm pretty sure. Kyle and LCD are basically both guaranteed.
They're basically in, because the only reason he would lose his spot is if I don't know.
There's some crazy shit that happens. I feel like it's a I don't want to I'm not going to try to curse the guy or anything. I'm knocking on wood. He should be fine.
They both should be fine regardless of what happens. This game should really mean nothing but seeding.
Agreed. And unfortunately, the last battle here is the one that I couldn't muster up any. I guess it could be another kind of not last place thing. If Rob wins, he's not going to be last place.
There it is. Not last place is very important.
It is. I say that we remember last place, but really the person who is in last place is the person who remembers last place the most, because Mike summons up his last place finish all the time, and I gotta take a second to remember what season was that? Was that 3 or 4? Yeah. So that's pretty much how that one's gonna go here. There's, again, all over the place, Manny. There's potential for big changes. There's potential for wild swings. We've seen here with so many battles. +4, +5, +6. If someone gets a lucky crit in a certain direction, it could change the entire landscape of what the playoffs looks like. Now, will that happen? Traditionally, it is not.
No.
Traditionally, things stay relatively the same between week 9 and week 10. Whoever is supposed to win wins. Whoever is normally thought to lose will lose. And usually that's just how it goes. But I am an agent of chaos, Manny. I want crazy shit to happen. And I don't care who dislikes me for that. I want the wildest shit to happen. I want somebody who's 6-3 plus 24 to miss the playoffs somehow due to the stars being misaligned or some shit.
Joe, I subscribe to that. Let's get one of those 6-3 plus 24s out of the playoffs and get me in. Let's go. Chaos.
So then this is what it boils down to, Manny. As we go into week 10.
All right.
I have a very important question to ask you.
Okay. I'm ready.
Is week 10 the most important week of the season?
Joe, it's the most important week, but not for what you think, Joe, okay? This is the week that the men or the boys become men, okay? This is the week we decide not last place, okay?
Yes, agreed.
And so even for those people who think they have nothing to play for and they think that, this is a wash week. It's not a wash week, Joe. This is of utmost importance. We have half the league is 2-6 right now.
That's true.
That any one of them could be last place, and you just can't be last place. So that's why this is the most important week. Because even if you think you have nothing to play for, Joe, you do.
Hard agree. Manny, it was a pleasure doing Inside the PFL with you again here. And do you have anything to say to the lovely people before we sign off?
If some of y'all could lose, that'd be great. Peace.
Good night, everybody.